New efforts today to reform prison sentencing guidelines that have been in place here in Oregon for decades now.
Those in support of Measure 11 reform were in Salem, and so is our Jennifer Dowling, who's going beyond the headlines with one woman fighting for the change.
Christine Van Order was in the crowd at the Capitol calling for reform.
And I committed a robbery on a convenience store with 2 male co-defendants.
She was just 19, trying to impress the wrong people when she says she was caught and told she committed a Measure 11 crime.
Well, what's Measure 11? Well, I soon found out.
Though she was a first-time offender, that's not taken into consideration under Measure 11's rules.
I can't watch Orange is the New Black because, I know what it's really like in there.
She was sentenced to nearly 6 years under mandatory minimum prison sentencing guidelines for second-degree robbery. No chance for getting out early due to good time.
It was a very dangerous situation in there with a whole lot of young knuckleheads, what I call them, young kids with no good time to lose.
12 years later, she's running for office to try to change the system.
I don't know. I don't think that my criminal history will inhibit me so much as give me the kind of perspective needed to really get some, meaningful criminal justice reform going.
Opponents like Steve Doyle say any repeal goes against the will of the voters, who approved Measure 11 by almost 67% of the vote in 1994, taking effect in 95.
In Oregon, prior to Measure 11, you could commit a murder and do as little as 8 years in prison.
He also points out the sentencing guidelines don't apply to drug or property crimes.
In some of these cases, if somebody's actually doing 5 years and 10 months for a second-degree crime, it had to be pretty bad, or they had a bad record.
Still, Christine and others want to try.
Although the group feels they won't get anything done in the special session, Christine says she's confident she has enough support from Democrats and Republicans to introduce a bill in the next session that would provide for good time for those under Measure 11 sentences. Reporting in Salem, Jennifer Dowling, KOIN 6 News.